Hi everyone, it's Jeanette here from the Sewing Studio with, I say this all the time, you might get fed up of hearing me say this, with another little fun one. And it's this little Spools wall hanging. And I thought I would share this with you. Now there was a little bit of a story behind this. I made this during lockdown in what I call my workroom at home. I've got a little room where my computer and everything is. And obviously during lockdown, we were all spending a lot of time working from home on Zoom meetings and Teams and FaceTimes and all those things. And I was just very aware that behind me, it was just sort of a blank wall. And I thought, it'd be really nice if I just made a little mini quilt to go up there. So this is what I made. And I thought, there we are. Now, as well as brightening up my office space, people that are sort of talking to me via camera will also have something interesting to look at in the background. Now, at the time, like I say, we were all in lockdown, and I think it was at the time where, you know, shops weren't open very much and all the rest of it, apart from sort of grocery shops. So I just literally had to sort of use what I had. So this isn't quite the same size as the one I'm going to demonstrate, because I just had to sort of go with what was available to me. And I think these top and bottom strips for the spools weren't quite the right size. They need to be 2 inches, and I think I only had 1 3/4 inches for some of them that I wanted to use. So I just altered the block. So when you'll see the one I've made, they won't be exactly the same size, but it's the same thing. You'll get the gist. So the one we're going to be doing is just only slightly bigger. I think this turns out at, with the border, 13 inches. 4 of these put together should come out at 12 inches. So these will be 6-inch finished blocks. So this is another little scrappy one that I've been doing. And I thought I'd make another little wall hanging like this with these. But I had so much fun making these. I actually think this is going to be my next scrappy quilt project. Now I can't start it yet because I've already got my pineapple. Well, I actually have started it, haven't I? But I've got my pineapple one to finish first. But after the pineapple's either done or close to being finished, I think I'm going to make a quilt out of these, and I'm going to do them in blocks of 4 and put sashing and cornerstones in between blocks at sets of 4. So I was like, that's a really good idea to use up my scraps. So let's have a look at what we're going to need. I've got it laid out here. For the top of the spools block, you need 2 pieces which are 6.5 by 2 inches. For the thread part of the spool block, you need 3 3.5 by 1.5 inch pieces. So as you can see here, I'm going to be doing a grey one. We want 4 2-inch squares, and these are going to go here for snowballing the corners to make the spool. And then for the side panels here, these are 3.5 by 2 inches. Yes, just had to double check, 2 inches. So that's all the pieces you need for one spools block. So let's get to the sewing. As I said, this is a nice little quick one. I'm just going to lay out my strips in whatever order I want them. And then I'm just going to start by piecing those 3 together with our 1/4 inch seam. So let's take those to the machine and do that. Now I'm starting just on a small piece of fabric because these are quite small pieces. So it just makes sure that the machine doesn't push a corner of the fabric down into the throat. I never use a single whole throat plate, which would help avoid that. But also because I'm using 1/4 inch seam, I'm not sure my needle's dead in the centre of my the plate there anyway, so I'm not sure it would work. So on these, I tend to press this seam open. I think also it lays a little bit flatter. So I'm going to just finger press that one for now. And then put the other one on. So once again, I should be saying I'm sewing on a new machine. This is the Janome Memorycraft 9480 QC Professional. And I love it. It goes like lightning. Which is not the only thing I like about it, but yeah, I love it. I've got more room to work here as well. So I'm going to just finger press that for open for now. Now, I'm not going to worry about taking that to the iron. I'm going to put the 2 side pieces on. So these are the 2 that are 3.5 by 2 inches. And that should fit on there. perfectly. Now I'm going to sew it from that side so I can see what the seam's doing. Oh, I still keep looking for the button to put the foot down, and I don't need to on this machine. I'm still getting used to this one. Now I just press that seam towards the background fabric there, and then the other side can go on. This is a really quick block, I love it. So that's our middle section made. So let's just have a look at what we've got left. So that was really quick. Now we're just going to do the spool tops and bottoms. That's our thread bit. Now what we're going to do on these squares is draw a line across the diagonal from corner to corner. Now I'm just using a friction pen. And we're just going to use that to snowball the corners. Now on this fabric, I've got some directional because it's got letters. So I've got to decide whether I want the letters all going the same way, whether I'm happy with them upside down. That looks a bit weird. So we're going to have to try and remember to do it that way. So I've given myself a bit of a challenge. But that one needs to go that way, and I'm referring to this one so I can see I've got the angle right. So let's just pin that one there. Moved it a little bit. And then I've already drawn the line on these, look. And then that needs to go there. So they need to go up to the centre. So you've got mirror image. So just watch that you're getting your directions right on these. Now when I did those, I just chain pieced them through the machine, and I could tell by where the fabrics were and the direction of the fabrics that I was getting those right. So I did all the one sides first and then came back and did the others, the other angle. Now on this one, I need to do the same. And I'm going to leave it like that so I can see the angle. So that one will need to go that way. But these fabrics, I think they're all Corioda fabrics. I think one was called Strawberry Picker or Strawberry Gatherings, and the other one was Sugar Creek, I believe. I think I had a scrap bag, and I think I had a layer cake, and I think I might have even had a jelly roll of her fabric. So I've kept them all together, but they work really well together. Right, so let's just double check. Yeah, my angles are right there. Yes. My angles are right there. Yeah. So I'm going to take those to the machine, and I'm going to sew just slightly to the outside. Let me just put that in under the close-up so you can see. So there's my line. I'm just going to sew slightly to the outside of that line because this is the bit we're going to trim off. So I'm just going to sort of go along. I think somebody said they call it kissing the line. So let's take those to the machine and do that. Now, if you've got the diagonal seam tape or a mark on your machine, you can sort of drawing the line bit, but I haven't got that here. So I'm just going to, I'm going to start on a little bit again because that's another small piece that I don't want to get caught. And then also I can line up where the needle's going to go. There we are. So you just see I'm just on the outside of that line. So I'm going to put one through. And that's the other one. So you can see here if I was chain piecing, these fabrics are all going in that direction. Let's take that pin out because that's going to be in the way. Take that off and come in the other way. So this time my fabric angle is going that way. And that's just a check that I do to make sure I'm sewing mirror. So there we are. Now, just before I trim, I'm just going to press that back and just make sure that that fabric comes out to that corner and that I'm happy with that, and I am. So let me trim that. Let me trim that off. And the same with this one. Just do it under the close-up again. I'm just checking. I'm just folding that bit back. I'm just checking that that triangle comes out to the edge of that rectangle, and that one does as well. So we're good to go. And then we'll take that to the iron and give that a press, and then we can attach it to our centerpiece. Now, because that's a bias edge, I'm not moving the iron about too much because we can easily distort at it by doing that. So I'm just letting the heat of the iron do its work. Beautiful. Now I am just going to, I've never said that before, I don't think, beautiful. See, we're Cornish, we should be saying proper job. Right, this should still be 2 by 6.5. Now I've just got a little bit poking out there, so I am just going to do a little bit of a slither trim, and it really was just a slither trim. Look, that's all I trimmed off. But it does make sure that all your pieces come together a lot better. So let's just do that again. Well, that one's not too bad. And you do get little imperfections because of the method we've used to put those corners on. Look, that's all that's come off. Look, that was hardly worth it. But it all adds up. If that was on a big quilt, that would all add up. So we can now take that back to the sewing machine and put the whole block together. Now, top tip, I tried different methods of, getting these to line up in exactly the right place. And in the end, I thought, this is taking a lot of effort for something that really doesn't make that much of a difference. So I found the easiest way to put them together was to fold this one in half and find the centre point. Now, if you want to do the find your 1/4 inch and poke a pin through, you can. That's how I started. And then I thought, it's not sort of giving me any more of a result than doing it this way. So, and I'm going to find the centre of that one, and I'm going to find the centre of that one, and I'm just going to line everything up from the centre, because let's not make hard work for ourselves if we don't need to. So I'm just going to line those 2 centre points up. I'll take that one with me and a pin, and we'll line those 2 centre points up, and then hopefully our block will come out really well. So let's just sew those 2 seams. I'm going to do it from this side so I can see what these seams are doing here. And then once again, I'm going to line up my centre line, or centre lines. Oh, pick up my pin. And then sew. Now, because this is a scrappy block, I'm not too worried about everything lining up perfectly. Perhaps I should be, but I'm not. As long as all the sizes of my blocks come out right, I'm not too worried now. I think that's not looking too bad. But what we've got is to make sure that that spool bit, the thread bit, is in the centre. Let's just give that a press. Now on these seams, I also press these open. I think the whole thing's going to lie flatter, and there's nothing to match. Oh, that was a bit of bad pressing there, look, Jeanette. Let's just correct that bit. Then we'll hit it from the front. I'm going to put that under the close-up. There's our lovely little spools block. So I would just check, once I've made them all, I don't think I've trimmed any so far, but I will just check that they all come out at 6.5. So like I say, when it comes to putting them all together. But I think, as I said, I'm going to do them in blocks of 4, and I'm going to put sashings and cornerstones in between them all. But that's definitely going to be my next scrappy quilt. I say they come together really quickly. So let me just lay them out. Now, I should say on the quilt layout and how I'm going to do it, sorry, mini quilt layout, and how I'm going to do it on the big quilt, is you have one block, one spool going vertically, and then you put one horizontally, and then this one here goes vertically, and that one goes horizontally. So that's going to be the layout. So there it is, a quick, fun, little scrappy spools block project. I hope you give it a go. If you do, please share your photos with me. But definitely, I'm going to have to put this one on the back burner. Next scrappy quilt for 2025. See, I'm planning ahead already. That's a bit sad, isn't it? Needs to be done. So thanks, guys, ever so much. As I said, if you do make these blocks, do share any photos with us. We love to see what you're doing. Thank you for spending some time with me here again today, and hope you'll join me again here next time in the sewing studio.